What up? Today I'm gonna try making some pho, homemade, and hopefully it turns out good. Let's get into it. So one of the main things that's super important about making pho is the spices that go into it, because it's a very like aromatic type of soup, and so there's a lot of pungent flavors in the broth. You mess up the broth, you mess up the whole thang. So right now I'm gonna show you the spices that would be included inside of the broth, and I'll try to do this short form, so I'll take you through the steps real quick. Bada bing, bada boom, let's go. First spice, fennel seed. Second spice, cardamom. Third spice, cloves. Also, cinnamon, super important spice. Star anise. Lastly, coriander. All right, so we're gonna be toasting these seasonings in a pan for a little bit to bring out their oils naturally, and then we're gonna throw them in a spice bag. Since I usually cook for the fam, I got a big old stock pot right here, and we're gonna fill this up with the ingredients for the actual beef stock. I'm going to add a little cheat beef broth. Also, one whole onion. Also, some ginger. Lastly, to get some real beef flavor, some beef bones. I almost forgot. Fish sauce. All right, so I got the beef broth in there. I got the onion and the ginger rough chop. We're gonna heat these up in a pan for just a little bit before we put them into the broth. And then after I roasted the spices, put them in a little spice bag, and we're gonna throw that into the broth as well. I'm gonna add a couple water to the broth, and then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my beef bones right now. All right, I heated up those in a pan just for like a few minutes, and you could already smell the ginger and onion kind of going crazy. So I'm gonna just add those into the broth right now. Spice bag, just drop it like it's hot. All right, last ingredient, fish sauce. I'm not a big fan of this stuff, but since I'm making such a large amount of broth and pho for the whole fam, I'm gonna put half a cup in here. Just pour that in, and then we're gonna let this boil down for like a good hour, maybe a little bit more, just so that all those flavors really get into the broth. And then we're gonna strain it out, and then I'll show you the rest of it after that's complete. In the meantime, let's chop up the toppings. All right, for toppings, we're just gonna do the traditional stuff. So slice jalapeno. I'm going to finely slice another onion. I'm going to prep some basil. I like a whole lot of lime, so we're gonna do a whole lot of lime. And I like putting cilantro in mine. Of course, you don't have to use that. And since I'm making an unapologetically beefy pho, I got some pre-sliced ribeye to throw on top once the soup's all prepped. And some bean sprouts, duh. All right, so we've been boiling this down for about an hour and a half. I wish you could smell the aroma coming out of this broth right now, but it is fuego. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna be taking everything out of this broth, and I'm gonna put the sliced beef into this broth. Traditionally, they'll serve it to you kind of rare, and then it kind of cooks in the soup when they serve it to you. But I'm gonna cook it in here. I'm gonna get the noodles prepped, and then we're gonna plate it, and we'll see how it looks. For the rice noodles, we're gonna do these medium cut rice noodles. All right, so we got the water boiling over here, and we got the noodles. They're kind of portioned out perfectly, so these are gonna be super quick. Just gonna boil those down 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna add them to a bowl. All right, noodles are in the bowl. Let's plate her up, because that broth looking good. All right, so there she is, and I gotta put some sriracha. Some people like hoisin, but there you go. It's my first time making some homemade pho. Super extra beefy. And yeah, let's get it. All right, so time to taste test it though. Let's see. Not gonna lie, it's pretty fire. Wow, I impressed myself. Hey, hey.